Welcome back on Dynamod. Today I want to propose you a video about
the unboxing review about a new Battleforce released for Christmas 2021. It's a limited time releasing from the Games Workshop. This is part of a series of such Battleforce that will be released for both the Warhammer 40k and for Age of Sigmar. I decided to buy only this one because I bought two of these because I wanted to create a new army of Ossiarch Bonereapers. Inside here there are a lot of pieces that I really wanted for my army, so it's quite worth, in my opinion, for creating an army. Eventually you can find two of them, it's even better. Anyway, now we go to see about the box, how it's the different parts and the content inside, because we can see that there are a lot of interesting things to see about. So here we can find the bases. Eventually you can change and modify also on them. In the description you can find a link about my playlist for the bases, because I think that they can be quite interesting. There are part of the bases because the bigger one are under everything, so we'll see them after. And I think that they are always useful because it brings the models, but remember that you can perfect as you want such bases, so use them with I can say the theme that you need for your army. The first thing that we can see is here that we have the Mortek Guards. There are 20 models inside here, so there are two sets of the same sprue, and as you can see they are really quite amazing models. I really like the details that they have because they are really quite amazing one. I think that I monetize them. I have yet done something about the Horrek Dreadlance, similar one about the Cavalos the Riders. Still, I think that here I can make some experiment eventually, but I'll create a video specific one about this if I found that they can be really quite interesting in that way. So these are the base. I think that it's quite interesting. It's a good way to have a solid nucleus of your army to play with, so I think that they are really quite interesting. Here there is the Mortisan Boneshaper that I really love. I wanted to play with two of these, and because I had two boxes I can play with these, and I think that I modify also some of these. Sincerely, I think that these are even better than I thought when seeing the model on Painted and so on, and there are really quite amazing options that you can play with. Remember that if you are going to play with this model, you have to pay attention about how delicate it is, because there are a lot of pieces that are really quite small to manipulate, so eventually remember about. Anyway, I really like such one. Then we have the other hero that it's inside, that it's the Mortisan, here the Boneshaper. Here it's really quite amazing. I sincerely don't think that this is only for the Ossiarch, but it's a really nice conversion eventually for the Night Hound to play with. It's amazing. I like really a lot such models, and I think that this it's one of the models that is more possible to modify and to use for other armies, because there are a lot of options that you can change or eventually modify or simply completely change, because if you think you can change the head, some positioning and so on, but remember that it's quite delicate. Maybe it's one of the most delicate models about the Ossiarch Bonereapers. Then had the Mortek Crawler, that are these two sprues. Sincerely, I like, I don't like. These pieces I never liked, that are the feet inside, but are better than I thought, sincerely. These can be considered a successor about the Skull Catapult of the Camry, and it's really much better than I thought. And I think that I'll try something about experiment, maybe to create some mobile moving parts and so on, but it's something that it's really impressed me. I'm really glad that inside this one, because I wanted to buy, but it was a bit expensive in my opinion for the piece itself. Still, the pieces are really quite amazing, and I really like a lot, because there are a lot of different pieces that can be used also to create something completely different eventually, but there are a lot of options that are really quite fantastic, and compared to the school catapult of the Camry, it's much easier to build this one, really. So I'm really glad about such piece, because I'm not sure that I'll play with it, but surely I'll have a fun building it. Then we have this sprue that it's the Mortisan Guard, alias the Necropolis Stalker, and I think that it's really quite amazing. If you go about the size, it's about as the Morgas has pieces, but I think that they are really quite amazing as details parts, and I think about monetize them so that I can change from one type of unit to the other one, because I like a lot. But eventually, even if you think only having them as they are, so the Mortisan Guard or the Necropolis Stalkers themselves, the spare pieces can be really quite useful to modify or creating something completely new. So eventually think also about that. I really like such style. Okay, it's completely taken from the Morgas, because these are the styles of the Morgas themselves, but I love that type of style, so I think that I really like about playing with this type of unit. I'm not sure if I'll go to insert this type of unit inside of my roster, but still having two of such units, I'll create something eventually to test them, because I really love such models and I'd really like to see them having a role on the battlefield. And now the model that I like more about the Ossiarch Bonereapers, and the one that I really wanted to buy, but it was, in my opinion, too expensive, and it's the Gothizzard Harvester. And this, I think that it's really quite an amazing model with a lot of fantastic details. I don't know if I'll modify or create something about it in different way, but see about such details. Wow, it's really amazing. I think that the only sprue that is seen with so many details and so on are the one about the Battleforce Riders, that it's another unit that I love. And really think also about simply the head themselves. They are really fantastic, so you can even personalize in two different ways, or combining in a lot of different ways eventually. So I think that it's really amazing. This is a model that I want to have two of them, so having two boxes I have the option, and really it's something that I suggest you to try, because it's amazing to see on the battlefield, and even if you don't play on the battlefield but you want to play with the modifier or so on, it's amazing. I think about having modified and monetized it, because it has different weapon options, so I'll try to find a solution if it's available. I love such standard. Eventually you can modify and take from other pieces, for example the one of the Mortek Guard, the Battleforce Tithe Riders, so that you can have in something completely personalized or so on, or create your own one. So it's quite amazing, really. And it's a type of model that I have a lot of fun to build, monetize, convert and personalize, so really quite welcome. Then we have the building instruction that can be always useful, so I suggest you to keep note about this, because they can be quite useful to have and build your model eventually to study as to monetize or so on, because they can reveal you how the pieces combine. More if you think about the Mortek Crawlers, I think that this it's something that you have to study about, because you need to understand how to build it. Here we have the Mortisan Guard, here the Gothizzard Harvester, so we have all the options that are needed to create something completely, I can say, usable and even more personalized about such armies. So really something amazing. And here we have the two missing pieces about the Ossiarch Bonereapers, that are the one for the Gothizzard Harvester and the one for the Mortek Crawler. So I think that they are really quite awesome, and it it would be quite interesting to modify them so that there can be themes for your own army. So I think that it would be really awesome, and so we'll go to see about how to build them in an efficient way. There are at the end only 27 models inside such box, and the main part of these are the Mortek Guards. Still, I think that it's an amazing box, because each of these pieces is quite expensive, and so having this at the price that has been listed, I think that it's quite interesting. Remember that inside this box there are almost 250 euros about pieces, about units that you should buy, and Games Workshop make you have that you can buy them at 160 euro. Eventually you can find some moreover discount or so on. I think that it's really quite interesting to buy, because it means that if you have a discount of about 15% or so on, you can gain even more. If you remember, even if you think about the contents inside, it's almost like having a 50% discount about the pieces that are inside. So I think that if you are able to buy this one, you can complete your own army in some way, because these pieces are always something that you can use. Okay, you can maybe have some reserve about the pieces about such characters, but for example, I think that they are quite interesting, because even if you don't play them, you have them for your collection, and the rules can always change. If you think that you need, you'll have them. And think about this, you can personalize in a lot of ways. This piece, it's something that it's always worth to have, because it's an amazing piece. Okay, this one I said that I love, so it's okay. And these are units that are always useful to have, because okay, you eventually you can use the Cavalry Staff Riders, but if you need something that has a bit of number, these are the only main choice that you can have. So I think that this box is amazing. If you're interested about the rules, I want to remind you that in the description there is the playlist about the Ossiarch Bonereapers with the analysis of all the rules, the facts and so on, so that you can have as a referral. And I'm interested about keep and create new videos about such army, so much that I want to create videos about painting them, modify them, monetize them. My style for this army will be related about the Cremations, the Immortis, because I love that background. So even if they are not the top about the playing, I think that they are really quite awesome. So I think that I have a lot of fun with such army, because it's simply amazing. I love the style of such army. Anyway, from Dino Mode it's everything. I invite you to put a like on this video, to subscribe to the channel, to ring the bell, and to comment this video if you are interested in something about this video, or you want to suggest me some arguments for other videos. I hope to see you again to the next time.